This decade heralded a departure from the era of musical monoculture that defined preceding decades. This shift is propelled by the democratization of music discovery facilitated by the internet, fostering an unprecedented proliferation of diverse genres and subgenres, like the revolutionary vocabulary of rock in the 60s to the electronic experimentation and evolution of diverse post-genres of the 70s, creative soul, funk, and regional music around the world that delves into inspiration to many artists until now. Each preceding decade laid the groundwork for a rich tapestry of musical exploration that characterized the present era. Yet, amidst the abundance of musical diversity, there is a notable undercurrent of nostalgia that permeates contemporary sounds, mostly the 80s and the 90s. The first, characterized by synths and ethereal beauty at its finest. The second by alternative and groundbreaking non-genre classification, with several important releases defining music at a point where it is hardest to put a single genre on it. Artists draw inspiration from bygone eras, blending the old with the new in a delicate dance between homage and innovation. As we navigate the auditory music scene of the 2020s, the tension between honoring the past and forging new creative frontiers serves as a poignant reminder of the enduring power of music to both reflect the shape, the cultural zeitgeist. The onset of the pandemic brought about a slew of challenges, including delays of music releases, cancellation of concerts, and a halt in anticipation for musical innovations. However, amidst these obstacles, there emerged a silver lining, an influx of remarkable releases that captivate audiences worldwide. Yet, as the time progressed, a sense of stagnation seemed to pervade the music scene. It appeared as though music was merely undergoing transformation rather than genuine innovation. The element of surprise associated with new styles and genres dwindled, making it increasingly difficult to categorize music. Instead, there was a fusion of indie, experimental, and alternative elements, with some artists retaining the essence of the past decade hip-hop, while mainstream acts revisited the synthpop scene of the 80s and the pop-rock vibes of the 2000s. The 2000s, in a personal title, is probably my favorite decade. My top 3 albums released at that time, defining this decade as a very peculiar sound, encompassing the pinnacle of electropop and pop rock in the mainstream. Moreover, it witnessed the groundbreaking evolution from the 90s, introducing an experimental and innovative side to alternative music. K-pop, in particular, emerged as a dominant force, solidifying its position as perhaps the most influential genre of this generation. The 2010s marked the zenith of hip-hop's influence too, defining a decade with a diverse array of releases that encapsulate both underground and mainstream sensibilities, shaping the sense and style of recent years. Certainly, trap music, alongside drill and cloud rap, has its roots in hip-hop culture but has evolved distinctly over time. This genre emerged from the fusion of various musical elements, resulting in a unique sonic aesthetics that have defined the past decade music scene. The 2010s also signify increasing accessibility for music research and exploration, which often went unrecognized in previous decades. This accessibility marked a significant milestone in the history of music, as it became easier than ever to discover interesting and incredible releases. Moreover, these trends appear to be on rise, suggesting that the current era may surpass previous decades in terms of ease of access to diverse musical offerings. However, this abundance of choices has led to a dilemma. The decade is so varied and diverse in terms of research that it has become challenging to establish a unified aesthetic or style in a sound. This begs the question of whether assertions about the lack of cohesive musical identity stem from a genuine observation of a mere expression of a nostalgia for a bygone era. Establishing a clear definition of genre or a distinct aesthetic has become increasingly challenging in recent years. While the notion of non-genre music gained prominence in the 90s, the last decade still witnessed the predominance of certain styles, particularly rap and neo-soul. However, in the current decade, a lack of a dominant genre or aesthetic is evident. Instead, there is a fusion of genres akin to avant rock and post-rock, exemplified by bands like Black Country New Road and Black Midi, which are regarded as some of the best bands of this era. These acts defy easy categorization, blurring the lines between traditional genres and embracing experimentation. On the hip-hop front, artists draw inspiration from the previous decades, resulting in a diverse array of releases. Notable names such as Little Simz, G.I.D., Denzel Curry, and the illustrious genius of this generation, Kendrick Lamar, have delivered groundbreaking albums that push the boundaries of the genre. Furthermore, experimental hip-hop has seen notable progression, with acts like JPEG Mafia and Injury Reserve leading the charge with the experimental approach. These artists challenge conventional notions of hip-hop, incorporating elements of avant-garde, electronic, and industrial music to create a sound that defies classification. Among the most groundbreaking albums of the recent times, Sometimes I Might Be Introvert, a profound musical journey exploring various themes such as genres, resentment, growth, politics, struggle, introversion, culture, heritage, and identity. While the album boasts almost 10 minutes of interludes delivering cliché hyper-positive messages, it might wear thin for some listeners. However, its production, entirely crafted by Inflow, is undeniably unique, infused with expansive orchestral arrangements influenced by a fusion of neo soul, jazz, and electronica. The album creates a cinematic experience. Little Simz' charismatic presence shines as she delves into personal topics such as broken family bonds, self-esteem, womanhood, and insecurities, all while maintaining her conviction in moments of extroversion. It's the delicate balance between vulnerability and strength that makes Sometimes I Might Be Introvert stand out, offering listeners a glimpse into the multifaceted nature of Little Simz. Another notable release is Hands From Out There by Black Country New Road, a band characterized by their raw emotion and genuine camaraderie. The album is a culmination of both the band's artistic identity and their deep friendship, known for the fusion of post-punk, post-rock, and klezmer. Black Country New Road expands their sonic palette by incorporating elements of folk, indie rock, modern classical, and chamber music. The result is an authentic expression of their creativity and trust in one another. While the future may hold uncertainties for rock music, Hands From Out There stands as a magnus opus, solidifying their place as one of the most important acts of the decade. Lastly, The Mercurial World by Magdalena Bay transports listeners to a surreal, psychedelic realm filled with vibrant colors and dreamlike landscapes. Crafted entirely during the pandemic, the album explores a concept of a video game simulation world, characterized by pink psychedelia and bubblegum-colored utopia. It serves as a commentary on the social and societal phenomena prevalent in recent years, where humans seek refuge and escapism through social media networks, video games, and virtual reality. The Mercurial World embodies the synthesis of past musical eras with its surreal synthpop aesthetic while emphasizing deeply human experiences. Synthpop returned as one of the prominent styles of this decade, with the industry attempting to revive genres from past eras in the mainstream scene. Artists like The Weeknd are at the forefront of the synthpop resurgence, infusing modern sensibilities with retro sounds to create a nostalgic yet contemporary vibe. Similarly, Olivia Rodrigo's music represents a revival of pop rock, bringing back the sense of the genre in a modern context. These efforts underscore the industry's inclination towards revisiting and revitalizing classic styles to resonate with contemporary audiences. Moreover, the music industry has adapted to evolving consumer preferences by leveraging short videos as a strategic release platform. This unconventional approach allows artists to capture attention in an era characterized by short attention spans and rapid content consumption. Through new-age platforms, artists can showcase their music in bite-sized formats, capitalizing on viral trends and engaging with diverse audiences. Furthermore, there has been a notable increase in the proliferation of multicultural music, particularly from Hispanic, Brazilian, and European artists. This diverse array of musical expressions reflects the globalized nature of the modern music landscape and is facilitated by the accessibility of digital platforms. These provide an open window for artists from various cultural backgrounds to share their music with a wide audience, contributing to the rich tapestry of the musical diversity in the current decade. With that said, this phenomenon could be seen as nostalgic note to the past, yet it also serves as a call to establish music as a non-genre classification and pronounce the death of musical monoculture. The sense of music from bygone eras persists, ushering in a new era of multicultural territory where artists can embark on fresh sonic exploration. This underscores the importance of underground and avant-garde releases, which possesses the platform to showcase their music and receive optimal exposure. Music until now needs no classification. The era of surprise and innovation from different styles probably culminates. However, the accessibility, depth, and ever-evolving nature of musical exploration mark a stark contrast in modern times. As we continue to consume this decade's music, maybe the fusion of unthinking forms of expression and sound can yet surprise with several emotions of inspiration. That's the sound of this decade, the no-genre classification and evolution on multicultural terms.